I've been having a lot going on in my life, in my personal life. And when you say that, people always think it's like something serious. I just actually been enjoying my time.
Yeah.
But we here today.
That's it.
Did we do mic checks?
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right. Felicia, you know my sound is always amazing. All right. Tell us what you did this morning, Brother Anthony.
What did I do this morning?
Yeah. What was your morning routine this morning?
I had a couple meetings. I jumped on at 8:30, then a 9 a.m.
It's good.
Uh-huh.
And then I pretty much pulled up here,
Yeah. Boom. You're right there.
ate some lunch.
I go off the board.
What'd you eat for lunch?
Down. Okay.
I had some Chipotle from last night.
Chipotle.
Chipotle.
That's probably the wrong place to be talking about my bad habits.
Now, Chipotle, their sofritos is delicious. The tofu.
You didn't say McDonald's, so
Nah, I wouldn't do that.
You already doing better than like.
Darren?
Yeah. So we would do better.
Yeah, Darren's good.
I'm talking.
Greetings
so not
from
good.
Greece.
So you don't do make it days.
Uh-huh.
Well, you don't do make it days, but
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
nah. That's only for them drunken nights.
Yeah.
They drunken nights.
So on this,
Uh-huh.
maybe I shouldn't be talking right now during mic check.
Is she still my second me? Oh, okay, my bad.
She's
Okay,
still
well,
trying to get.
okay, so
This sounds look good on my side.
I'm at my normal
I'm looking
place,
at the
so,
board.
You know, Blondie McFly over here. Look at
You know,
Blondie, a
Felicia
financial
is a perfectionist.
friend of mine. Found my sighted twin. My sighted twin is out here doing big things.
Oh, me?
Yep.
It's the Anything Can Happen show. It's Kenya. I'm here
Yeah.
for you.
Oh, she got her late night sexy voice.
Now you got a real radio voice, Miss Kenny.
Oh, well, thank you.
You got a real radio voice.
Thank you so much.
So what you trying to say, Aunt? Like my voice ain't ready?
Hey,
Man,
first
just
of
when I thought I knew my
Right.
brother over here, man.
First of all, just because somebody else gets flowers does not mean that you don't get a petal or two.
Hey, you heard how it's deep in this voice when
Yeah,
you asked
yeah,
that
whoa,
question?
whoa,
Sure
wait, hold on,
did.
hold on.
Okay.
That is some good.
Oh my God. Hi, guys. Oh my God. It's so good to see everybody. La, 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 la. What's up, cousin?
We going at 23, Felicia?
It's the
All right.
Anything Can Happen show. It's the Anything
All right, we got 15 seconds. We're gonna get everything going.
To catch the song.
Hi.
All right, I got us going.
Is there an actual like full theme song for you guys?
Oh,
All right.
we have to wait.
Three, two, one.
So you are a guest
Hold on.
today.
I'm the guest host.
Guest
Yes,
host.
That's what I. That's there we go. Give me right.
You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Cat Fitness, and our guest host, Brother Darren from Financial State of Mind, y'all. We got the perfect topic for y'all, man.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some wealth and wellness today.
And that is one of our favorite things to talk about on this show.
I think a lot of our viewers like to understand how to make this money.
Absolutely.
Well, how to make it, how to keep it, how to spread the wealth, and
We're going to definitely spread the wealth.
what I like
Absolutely.
about our guest today is that he likes to spread the wealth and also spread the knowledge, not just amongst adults, but also amongst the young people. So I want to hear more from you before I spill the beans that I know about you as one of your stalkers.
Well, one of his stalkers.
Yeah.
Dang, already?
I mean, I'm
So,
just being real.
We got Brother Anthony Walker in the building, y'all. And I met this brother not too long ago. We were at the pre-party for the Black Joy Parade. And we got
Yes.
introduced by another great brother, Brother Terry Griffin.
Shout out
And he
to
was like, man, y'all got to connect. Y'all got to hook up because both y'all doing amazing things in the community. And we got to get him elevated to the next platform. So I told him, you got to come to the show and check it out.
Yep.
But he had a book, y'all, a book for the youth. And I wouldn't say it's just for the youth. I would say it's for the entire family. Like, shameless plug, shameless plug on on social media.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're
Get
going to
that on
talk about
camera.
this book because I'm extremely excited about this book because it says Family Encyclopedia at the top, and as a mom of a 13-year-old that has like no, I don't know, you know, some of our young people, moms out there.
They're developing.
Yeah,
The child is developing.
developing, but also not developing any sense of money or the value of money. He also is somebody that doesn't care at all about purchasing anything. You know, you buy him something, he never opens it. I mean, he just doesn't care about things, you know. And so, but you know, he keeps money out in a bowl in his bedroom. So when mom needs a couple of dollars, I just roll in there. He never even notices it's gone. I mean, there's like no value to this child. So
yeah, but that sounds like an interesting child. I'm
It's
interested.
interesting.
There's a lot of good things that I heard. You know, besides some of the things that can be worked on,
Yeah,
a lot
right.
of good things there too, for sure.
So, Brother Anthony, what got you into the financial world?
Man, that's a great question. So, fast forward to 2020, I lost my job in sales, and
What kind of sales? 'Cause
I
I
was-
come from a sales background.
I was actually
I
selling
do too.
personal training at the time.
Really?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I come from sales too, actually.
So,
Really?
my back. I went to school for kinesiology.
Uh-huh.
I got my undergrad and my master's in kinesiology actually. So this is actually the perfect location for me actually, because those that don't know, this is a wellness show. But so I lost my job in 2020, pandemic, and I started studying the stock market because I had a little bit of bread. I had a good year in sales that year, so I had a little bit of bread. I'm like, what can I be
Good.
doing?
How can I flip this real quick?
Yeah, exactly. Just like a lot of people were thinking in the pandemic.
Right, sure were.
So I started studying the stock market. This 2020. This brand new. This nothing. You know, it's not crazy long time ago, right? But what I realized when I started studying the stock market is the things that there's something called fundamental analysis in the stock market.
Okay.
So fundamental analysis is the basic things we're going to look for if we're looking at a company that we're going to invest in, right? So you might say Apple, and then you just go down this list and you check their fundamentals. So I'm learning this idea of fundamental analysis, and what I realized is everything they're talking about, my dad and my mom already taught me.
Oh,
Man.
I just never made a connection
Good.
interesting.
between these principles that they gave me and the stock market, and most of us never do.
Yep.
But what I realized at that point is, we already have the information within our communities to be successful at the highest levels of business. I'm talking Silicon Valley and Wall Street. We just haven't made that connection.
So we got the foundation. You telling us?
We already have it. We already have all of the principles necessary to be successful at the highest levels of business and to run things at the highest levels of business as well.
I think I was just going to say, I think it's a matter of language and communication, because the way our parents communicated things to us is very different, you know, in the home than it is in like kind of the larger business schema, you know. And so it might be very, very similar, but we don't make the connection because we're listening to different languages. So
yeah. So give me an example of like what you're talking about, like something that your parents taught you that was the foundation of your financial literacy currently that you like, oh, that's what they was talking about back then.
When I tell you it was line for line, I'm telling you it was line for line. My whole life, my father always said, son, pay yourself first. The whole phrase was pay yourself first. The white folks already got some money. So he's talking about your bill collectors. He's talking about people that own brands, people that own things like that own the things that we consume. He's like, they already got some money. Pay yourself first.
He was telling you that when?
Since I was born. This is like one of the foundational.
Shout out Pops.
Yeah, this is one of the foundational.
Seriously?
You definitely had an exception.
Uh-huh.
I can tell you that for a fact.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe, and you know, we could dig into my parents' backgrounds a little later, but I can tell you why it was an exception. But the fact that he always said, I'm like, okay, so when you're doing fundamental analysis, one of the first things and what he was saying essentially is take a percentage of what you make and put it and save it. That's the first thing you should do.
Yep.
He always says start with 10%, and once you start to see it build, you'll want to build it some more.
Yeah.
So when you're doing fundamental analysis, the first question you ask is, what is the cash on hand for this company? So what's their savings is the question. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, that makes perfect sense. My dad always told me, pay yourself first. So what is their savings is a great question to ask. And the second one, the second thing, and this it clicked for me pretty quick. The second thing you look at is you look at a company's balance sheet. Right. So a balance sheet has a company's assets versus their liabilities. So assets minus liabilities equals, we call it net worth, but they call it like book value in finance. But it's like somebody's net worth. You take somebody's assets, you minus it by their liabilities. That's how much they're worth, quote unquote.
Business or personal.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Same rules apply.
Same rules. Yep.
So my father, my whole life, he said, son, get a truck instead of a car because a truck is an asset, a car is a liability.
You can write off a truck.
You can, and it helps you make money. You can. He used to say you can hire a couple people.
Throw them in the back of the truck.
Right? He really
got a hauling business.
Really, what he used to say, he said you can hire a couple of people that follow you around and call you Mr. Walker if you got a truck.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear some of the phrases that you're talking about until I was way past being an adult. You know, paying yourself first. I never heard that ever. You know, until I was grown. And by grown, I mean like 5 years ago. So, you know, that's pretty cool that you had that growing up.
Were your parents in business for themselves or something? Like,
yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's what I was about to.
So prior to me being born in the 80s, my parents are from Northern California, Sacramento specifically. Well, my mom's from Oakland, pop's from Sacramento. But they moved to Alaska.
Alaska.
Yeah. If you
that's a story within itself.
It is. It was before I was born. I never lived in Alaska a day in my life. My sister was actually in Alaska from like 0 to 4.
Yeah.
But if you could imagine anything you could get in Northern California, where the game originated, is gonna be a lot cheaper than what you could sell it for in Alaska. So, you know, they was hustling. They were buying low in Northern California and selling high in Alaska. So that was the core of their, that's what kind of got them started. They was out there for 7 years. They ended up having a limo company that did well. You know what I'm saying? They had a lot of different diversified businesses within that 7-year period.
See, I would have never even guessed that. I thought Alaska, you're gonna have the sleds and the dogs and everything. I didn't even know you could have a limo company in Alaska.
Oh, yeah. They have streets there. They do have streets.
Not according to the History Channel or Nature Channel.
But you know, that's like where somebody was shocked to find out that Africa had buildings. I had a conversation with somebody who was like, they have buildings. Ma'am.
Oh my goodness.
But you gotta understand that's a lot of what we've been exposed to.
Well, that's all we're exposed to because we're exposed to because media is meant to entertain, not educate.
Exactly.
So yeah.
I would even say, like, to your point earlier when you said that the language is different, right? I think that's by design also.
Yeah.
And I think that media that is meant to educate us is also meant to keep us lacking understanding or lacking awareness, lacking education.
Absolutely.
So that's why.
The media is meant to get in a reaction. That's you know, just from psychology, like they're just trying to get your eyes stuck on them. So it's not going to be something educational. It's not even going to be something positive. It's going to be something that's going to be like, oh, what's going on? Why is that going on? Why is that happening? Usually bad. So, but yeah, that's what they do.
That is. So I want to know, you guys, so I shouldn't say you guys, you weren't there. Your family moved away from Alaska and then went to San Diego because you're from San Diego, correct?
Absolutely. So my parents split. My mother went to San Diego. My father went back to Sac. So he's been in Sacramento my whole life. And so I was raised in San Diego with my mom. And my dad is the one with all the one-liners. He got all the one-liners, but my mom has deep wisdom. You know what I'm saying? So like an example of her deep wisdom is, and I tell it in story form, it makes the most sense. So what I learned from my mom is that when you add value to relationships, even if you don't have money, those relationships will take care of you. So like me and my sister grew up, you know, kind of house to house a little bit. Sometimes my mom had us, sometimes other people had us, you know, people, community members, our family, etc. And people really cared for us. And we were raised in in a lot of ways, healthy ways because of the people that care for us. And I realized that it's because my mom always brought value. So if she didn't have money, she was doing for people. So those people were willing and able to do for us as well. So the phrase that came from watching her do that was that, man, money is not the only currency. Like, really, love is currency.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of like that's become one of the phrases that we, you know what I'm saying, as a business has been kind of like our cornerstone. And we actually got a trademark for the term love is currency earlier. I forgot 2020, sometime in 2022. So now we're the only company that could put love is currency on any type of clothing.
Wow. Whoa, I love it.
That's dope. You got that trademark too.
And we're working on pay yourself first too. They trying to be a little funny style with pay yourself first.
Sure.
They tripping, but my lawyer's on it, man. Hopefully, so we'll know within the next couple of months, but hopefully pay yourself first will be next.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So besides like the business that they had in Alaska and everything, were they still entrepreneurs when they came back to the state? Well, I mean, Alaska is the States, but you know, when they came back to California, were they still in the entrepreneurial world?
The lower 48. So
Right,
when they came back to the lower 48, that's what they
Right.
call it. They were yeah. So yes, my father was always had a truck, always had a hustle. He used to sell watermelons in the summertime. I used to go be in Sac in the summer. He used to go buy watermelons for the low and sell them on the block. You know, my mom always had a hustle herself, always. And most of my life, I don't remember her having a 9-to-5. Like, once she started getting settled a little bit, she ended up getting a 9-to-5. It was we actually lived a much better life afterwards. But the entrepreneurial spirit definitely was huge in my household, and I learned a lot from, you know, I would say that at that point they were hustling. It wasn't ever as hot. They never had it like they had it when they had it in Alaska, but they always were hustling, like, for the rest of my life to this day.
So what was your first hustle? I mean, if you were seeing that, you was selling candy at school or something, maybe, for like your first little hustle.
Well, I feel terrible to say this, but I'm just gonna be honest. So my first, I used to steal. So I was a stealer. So
Yes.
I started stealing at a very young age.
Probably stereo?
I was stealing like candy at a store and selling them. Selling it, and then it went from candy from the store to the Nike outlet, all the Jordans from the Nike outlet. You know what I'm saying, and flipping them. So like that was really what I was doing, you know, until it was unsustainable. Like, till I, you know, we used to run through Marshalls. I had a hell of a racket when it comes to like stealing clothes at Marshalls. It was I owe them something.
Wow.
I definitely
Poor
owe
Marshalls.
them. Marshalls and Ross. I owe them something. I
goodness.
literally ate many meals because of Marshalls and Ross. So those are my little rackets, man. To be honest, my whole under 18, and then pretty predictably when I was 18, I caught a case for robbery. Because again, I was stealing. When you start stealing, you end up robbing, unless something happens or something changes for you. You know, definitely changed the trajectory of my life when I caught that case. I was looking at 7 years. By the grace, at fresh 18. I hadn't even fresh 18.
Wow.
And by the grace of God, like, I beat the case. I went to trial 2 times.
Wow.
My cousin, it was me, my cousin, and my homeboy. My cousin did like 6 months. My homeboy did a couple years.
Wow.
It was real racism at play in the courtroom. They called us the N-word in the courtroom, and all type. It was crazy. The witness was like, "Oh yeah, we don't really see too many, you know, N-words."
Wow.
It was crazy.
Wow.
This was in Cali, or this
is in San Diego.
This is in Diego. Okay.
But with that being said, my homeboy, you know, he a dark skinned brother. He got, he got the nappy fro before the nappy fro was a thing. You know, they knew that was going to send that. You know, they knew that was going to send that young man through the ringer. You know.
Yep.
And didn't have a lawyer. Like, my family was able to hustle up some money and give me a lawyer. My cousin, his dad was a bona fide hustler. So we had lawyers. We got bailed out. Like, it was just the system doing what the system does. You know, nobody said nothing or nothing, but just you seen the system working. Like, the system was working. Right? You know.
And at that point, was there any kind of like, because it sounded like it was a shift maybe right after that experience?
Yeah, so not right after that experience, I called myself thugging for like the next, from 18 to probably 22. And you know, partly it's because I had something hanging over my head, and I just was like, man, I don't didn't really see a future like that. Like I didn't really, I was still in what I was in, dealing with what I was dealing with. So I called myself hustling, still doing things that weren't all the way legal, but were a little bit less risky. And then once I beat the case, I think there was a real shift in my life. For the third, went to trial twice, beat it twice. The third time, actually, I took a deal at the end. So I ended up with the felony, but I got time served. I didn't have to do no real time. I was on probation, got time served, and I was cool. But I think a shift happened after that. And really the shift was with my mom. So like through that process, it was the most stressful thing ever. Like she loved her children more than she loved anything in the world. You know what I'm saying?
We all do.
Man,
of course.
And she put her all into us. And specifically me, to be honest, I played sports and she was all up in it. So it was devastating to her.
You a hooper?
Sure.
And I play football.
You play football?
Yeah.
You a corner?
And I play running back. I was nice too.
Yeah.
I was official.
Okay.
But she, she put her all in us. So she was, dealing with a level of depression. And I think during that time, like I think she learned during that time, like that she needed to let go and let God. And then her doing that, you know what I'm saying? And honestly, giving her life, not only giving her children to God, but giving her life to Christ during that time was probably the biggest shift in my life. You know what I'm saying? And then seeing me beat the case right after that, I'm like, oh, God is real.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's with us. Like he just answered my mom's prayers in a way nobody else ever could. You know what I'm saying? So I think that was the beginning of the shift for me, was when I actually beat the case and the circumstances surrounding that.
All right.
So I want to know when you started on this financial journey, like after that, and like, what was that movement like, and a little bit more about what you're doing right now, besides this lovely book that I can't wait to hear more about.
Yeah, so kind of like I mentioned, the financial journey started in 2020, but then when I rewind even back to that time, like I had a felony. I was 22 years old. Hadn't went to school or nothing like that. So I decided, okay, let me live my life right. So I go back to school, you know what I'm saying? All those things. But I get out of school, I get my bachelor's degree, and I realized like it's gonna be hard to get a job, brother. You got a felony. You got a felony. It's ugly. So basically I was underemployed from the time I graduated college at like 25, 26 till, my 30. I've been underemployed the whole time. Due to the felony, I ended up getting expunged, but that has had an impact on me understanding that I can't depend on other people for a job. I need to figure it out myself on some level. So I've always had, at this point the hustles were legal, but I've always had something going on, some type of dream, some type of hustle, some type of extracurricular way to make money. So I would say that without me knowing it, it was built throughout this course of time.
Sure.
That felony steered you into entrepreneurship because that was your only viable option.
Absolutely, without knowing it. You know what I'm saying?
Without knowing it.
And it's real funny because you said you come from a sales background, right? How much of that you learned in the sales world were you able to apply to your own business once you had a product and a service that you were able to put out there? Because marketing is everything. Like when
it truly is.
When you go to any company, that's probably like the last department that they let go is people in the marketing, because they're bringing in money, especially direct marketing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So how did that apply to your own business? Like once you were like, okay, this is my product, this is my service, and all the marketing skills that I learned through this corporation, I'm going to apply it to my own personal business now.
Well, I was going to say, before you explain that, I think you should explain how you came up with the product, how you came up with the service, and then how you found your way to marketing it.
Got you. So, the process has been like an iterative process for me, for sure. Like the book has been what I've been really selling over the last year, but before that, it was shirts. So it started off with shirts that said some of the, to pay yourself first, love is currency, buy land, like some of these phrases that my parents taught me. But before I even started putting them on shirts, I was doing an Instagram video series every week called Finance Friday. And I would talk about, make the connections basically for the community between what I learned in business and what my parents taught me, and how that coalesces. And so I started off with the video series, and I realized, oh, people want to hear this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I was getting engagement, and people was tapping in, and like, I love what you're doing, whatever. I was like, well, I'm talking about business. I need to have a product. I need to demonstrate some business as well for it to really hit home for people. So I ended up I started off with T-shirts, like I said, buy land, love is currency, pay yourself first. I'm missing Black Wealth ended up coming at one point, but it wasn't the first one. And then I'm like, okay, so now I have a product. And as far as like the way sales affected, for me, it's a mind state first, right? Like, I saw it over. I managed a sales department at why is it not City Sports?
Okay.
Yeah, so I managed sales department. My sales department did over $1 million during the like 12 or 14 month span I was there. Did over $1 million. I did hundreds of thousands of dollars in sales. You know what I'm saying? Probably $250,000 in sales. So my perspective when I first created my product was like, if I could sell $500,000 or $1 million worth of their product,
what can I do for myself?
Exactly.
Right. I had that same epiphany. I managed. I actually managed the $5 million portfolio of ads, and it was just the same thing. I said, if I can manage and sell this, then I can do anything.
And I think oftentimes that kind of misses us because we're typically not. I mean, you seem to have been raised to kind of be an entrepreneur, or at least know that was an option in life. A lot of us were not raised. I know I certainly was. I was told to get a government job. That is what I did, and now I don't have that anymore, thank God. And I do what I do. But I think that one of the things that often misses us is that if I'm paying for something, then somebody will pay me for that as well. And Kat, of course, is a fitness guru, and so it's like we have to think of ourselves as not just a commodity, but also as our own marketing team, if that's the direction that you want to go. And I think that we're not often educated in that way, but I think it's even bigger than that. It's bigger than a lack of education. It's more of a lack of confidence in our ability to have that opportunity.
Right. It's not normalized in our culture like it's normalized in other cultures. Like especially when we legitimize it by incorporation and by registering it with the state. We think of it as hustle. Like literally it's the same thing, right? Hustling and owning a business, there is no difference.
Side hustle, everything. Like for me with my business, everything, it was a side hustle. Side hustle. I was a makeup artist. I've been a makeup artist for 20 something years, blah blah. That's all. It's been a side hustle. Same with when I started doing yoga. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is this a side hustle? Like, why did it take me this long to get an LLC, to get a IEN? Why did it take me this long when I've been not taking my business as seriously as I should have for 20 years or something, getting paid under the table and all that stuff. So,
because I think a lot of times from a very young age, we're programmed to think that we're supposed to get an hourly salary.
Yes.
Right. And then when it comes,
when
it comes in, I don't know in your particular position, Anthony, but was it a commission-based job that y'all was doing when y'all was selling the memberships and everything?
Yeah. We had
you had the hourly plus commission kind of thing going.
So we had a little base and then we had commissions, but I ate off the commissions. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I ate off the commissions for sure. So a couple of things. I think that like just when you mentioned that like it was entrepreneurship might have been normalized for me or I thought of it as like an option on some level, but I don't think it was always consciously.
Right.
So I think that a big part of it is like mainstreaming this entrepreneurship as opportunity.
Right.
And I think that like this idea of I think that every business it's okay to start as a side hustle, but like what are we evolving to?
It's so true. And then not only that, but what is the piece that's stopping us that aren't evolving? What is the piece that's
people are scared of the unknown?
Oh, child, preach it. Okay.
And that goes back. That's education, and that's also again culture. We're not. It's not normalized.
It's terrifying. I was raised to be terrified of not working for the man. I was raised to be terrified of not working for the government. And then when back, I don't know, my child was like 3 years old. and he's 13 now. And I told my mom and my aunt, we were on vacation, and I said, I don't think I can do this job much longer, because as people that are in our audience may have heard me say a few times, people literally dropped dead at their desk from stress at my job.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. Children's services, social work, right? Literally would fall on the floor and die. I mean, that was my job. And the worst that ever happened to me was like high stress and my hair fell out. Okay. So, but I'm like, I said to them both, I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be capable of doing this until I'm 65. And they both were clutching their pearls and oh my God, don't talk about quitting that job, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, are y'all here seeing my bald spot? Are y'all hearing what you're even saying? And so there's that fear of A, the unknown, B, relying on yourself. What if you don't make it? What this idea is crazy? Mm-hmm. Who's ever heard of a Black yoga teacher, or who's ever done this, or whatever, just all of those limiting beliefs. Mm-hmm. And it's a cultural issue. It's a sexism issue, internal sexism issue. There's all kinds of issues there. And then when I did retire from my job as soon as I could, 5 seconds after I could retire, I did. It's scary. It's just I can't even express how incredibly scared I was, and a lot of people are not willing to take that risk, even though they have the talent, way more talent than I may have, way more drive than I may have. I'm not somebody that I would ever consider driven.
I normalizing it, and this is what we're all doing on the show, is normalizing it, and our culture is big. I think if there's more situations where maybe it's your family, Anthony, but it was incorporated, and that's just how every African-American family or every minority family grows up. It's someone in your family that has an LLC business. Mm-hmm. Then it becomes normalized, because that's how it is for the majority race, the right race. It's they know somebody. It's someone in their family has an LLC. Someone in their family has a corporation, or some long lost distant cousin or relative, or some friend has it. Well,
and they're giving each other jobs.
Right. Yeah.
They are employing each other. I did diversity trainings for several companies during the pandemic, as I was sitting in my house, working in my underwear, and I was doing diversity training online and stuff. And I did one for one company where everyone was Caucasian except for one Asian woman and one Black guy. And the Black guy was from the islands, and also an unpaid intern, in the mailroom. Mm. And so all of the young, white people were like, this is not in alignment with our values, and we need some, LGBTQIA and, right. People of color, all this other stuff. So they brought me in a moment of desperation. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that the Asian lady said was, I have never applied for a job. Mm-hmm. My first job I got from my husband's family. She was married to a Caucasian guy. And then every other job just kind of trickled through. I've never had to fill out a job application. And she was at the top of this company, one of the top people in this company. And my husband is Caucasian, and he told me the same thing. When he was young, and his first job, when his friend's dad gave him a job, all this other stuff, because they're just, it's very different culture.
So we're going to get to the second half of this show after this music break, y'all. And we're going to start talking about this book, because this book has so much great information. You're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland, and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show, and we're going to take a quick music break, y'all.
You can watch me play with the book while I do the music.
All right, we got 4 minutes on this one. So if y'all want to take a quick peek at the book, so we have some questions surrounding the book.
I'll let you guys take the quick peek. I haven't expressed it to you, but I am actually legally blind.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. So, like right now, I actually can't see your face.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So, but I joke around, as you can tell, I joke around about it and stuff like that. So, just in case you like wonder,
Why is
like,
this nigga not looking?
Yeah.
Show me some respect.
He's just
Oh,
so
you blind?
disrespectful.
Oh, my bad.
Definitely never crossed my mind.
I usually can get it. Usually people don't even notice.
Yeah, I did not notice.
Yeah.
What's
I am
that?
so
What's
excited
your
about
ID?
this book, you guys.
The show,
Or yeah,
ACH.show, but Cat Fitness is,
ACH.show.
yep.
This is
Yeah.
the coolest.
And then Cat Fitness is Cat Fitness 3.
I have so many questions already.
Yeah.
I love it.
I really do.
Yeah. I'm definitely gonna start referring your book.
Cat Fitness.
I mean,
Yep. Yes.
yeah.
Definitely, like especially for the kids.
What's your ID?
How do we get the book into schools, y'all?
So his is at Financial State of Minds with
Yeah.
the S at the end.
I can show it to you right here.
State of Mind. Got it.
Yeah. With the FSM logo.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty sure I got it. And then what was yours?
At Ruby Envy. RUBYENVY.
I'm sorry. Hold on. Give me 1 second. And you said Ruby, RUBY
RUBY ENVY.
Envy.
Uh-huh.
We going right after the song?
Yeah, right after the song, we got
Yeah, got a little
2 minutes.
Man, this is the best.
Thank you.
Oh, look
Super.
at this cute picture of you in the bag.
Oh, you see me in the back?
So you're about the author section.
Hey, this is dope, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all do a really good job at this. You can tell you've been doing it. Y'all do it. Y'all really do this radio stuff. Like, I don't think I've ever been on it. This might be my first radio interview.
Wow.
But I feel like I'm on the radio. I don't feel like I'm anywhere else. I feel like I'm on the radio right here.
We were a podcast first.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I think podcast is, well, I guess it's video too.
The same thing. They all the same at this point.
well, I mean, I had to care a little bit more what I look like. When we were on
Right.
the podcast
Because it's video too.
Because it's video too. Here, I'm just like, whatever,
Yeah.
man.
But I think the difference is radio be way more professional. Like historically, radio is way more professional
Right.
and well done.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Because we see millions of podcasts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's all type of people talking about all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? But
I
here,
love
I get
podcasts
the real radio
because,
feel.
because you can cuss.
Right.
Um,
That's real.
Yeah, but I also I love the radio. Thank goodness for Cat because I would have never even thought about being on the radio.
All right, we got 30 seconds, y'all.
Who is this?
So,
Who is it? Fate. Blue and ash.
I'll bring this back in.
You got it. This ain't safe.
And you're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Cat Fitness, and our guest host today, Mr. Darren from Financial State of Minds. We're just listening to Tope, Faithful. And if y'all ready to get y'all money right, man, we have the perfect person for you today. In the studio, we have Brother Anthony Walker with amazing, not only information, but he has something tangible. He has a book that he put out for the community.
Y'all.
Can you tell us more about this book that you created for the
Here
family?
we
Not
go.
only
I know
the
I keep
kids.
showing it.
We need to hear about this book,
Here it
brother.
is, you guys.
Come on. What's the title of the book?
So the title is B is for Black Wealth. It's everything that they don't teach us in school about business, entrepreneurship, finance, and investing. It's the subtitle is Family Encyclopedia, but it's interesting because that's the second edition of the book. The first edition, the subtitle was Children's Encyclopedia. But what I realized is once we rolled it out is that the book is for children, but it's really designed for children and adults to read together. And the people that I've seen have most success and get the most out of the book is people that's like, yeah, man, me and my son or me and my daughter read like one page a day. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Those are the people
I'm probably gonna do.
Yeah, those are the people that I've seen have the most success with it. It's really like, you build a campfire, people to gather around. To me, it's kind of like a campfire when it comes to like business and finance, because parents are learning from it and so are children. And because the artwork is just so dope.
The artwork is great. Can we please shout out the illustrator, Lamaro Smith?
Yes, sir.
Man, it's beautiful.
He's a very talented person. Also, shout out to my publishers. There's 2 Black women out of San Diego named Channing and Chelsea Morley.
Okay.
I grew up with them. I've been on them since like 10 years old or 8 years old or something crazy. And one of their daughters is my niece.
Oh, sweet.
So I haven't got to ask you this particular question. Do you have kids?
I don't have any children yet.
Ladies.
Children yet.
Ladies.
Nah, I'm a married man.
Okay.
Wait a minute.
Spoke a little
you
too soon,
sitting up
y'all.
here like, come on, ladies. The man is married. For God's sake. Just because he doesn't have kids.
Shameless plug.
Lord Jesus. My God. His wife is probably watching like, excuse me.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Don't put them out on the market.
Can I just say one thing? Okay, so one thing I love about this book, I'm just going to, so for, anybody out there who knows me, Darren, also, anybody who knows me knows that I have been what I might call financially idiotic or slow. Slow might be kinder, or not. But what I love about this book is that it isn't overwhelming for us slow folk who find it challenging to think about. I'm better now because like I'm a big businesswoman now. but I have historically been scared of money, scared of numbers. My mother is a math teacher, and just not willing to delve too deep into it because it just was overwhelming for me. I'm a writer. I'm an author. I'm a letter person and an artist, and so things that have to do with finances have always intimidated me. And I love this book. I looked through it on the break, and what I love about it is it's very succinct and clear for those of us that just aren't that smart when it comes to financial things. And even like a lot of the stuff that's historical, you have some stuff in there about Malcolm X and, but things like liability and things like that. Tulsa, I think that is incredible because I'm an adult and I need this book. And I'm also a mother who does not want to raise a financially, economically ignorant child with a lack mindset or with a struggle mindset. That is exactly what I do not want to raise.
So my question is, what made you go the kid route without having any kids?
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, like that's dope.
Yeah,
that's a dope concept to come up
that
with.
doesn't mean he don't have no kids in his life.
Right now,
for the future kids he's writing.
A couple reasons. The first thing is what really started to shift my life in a lot of ways. I started coaching football. I coached my little brother's football team. He was like 10 years old or something. I started coaching them, and I kind of followed them up from 10 till through into high school, and that really had a huge impact on my life. That's what started to make me feel like I was more responsible for the decisions I made and just made me want to be a better man. So for me, I've always interacted with youth, and just watching those young men be grown men now, and you know what I'm saying, like really have be pillars in their communities and do different things and be professionals and different stuff and go to college, has been dope and has impacted my life. So for me, I think it was kind of a natural. It made sense based on that. Also because adults don't adults they're a little tough. It's a tough crowd when you're dealing with adults, right?
You being nice about that.
Yeah, he's being gentle.
Yeah, like if I tell you, hey, could I get about 5 minutes of your time to teach you something about finances? You might look at me like I'm crazy, but if I say, hey, I got something dope that can help teach your children about finances, you're gonna pick it up and you're gonna spend your own 5 minutes looking through the book trying to figure out what we're gonna teach our kids.
That's right.
In real life, you're gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, hiding the medicine with the candy.
That's right. It's brilliant. It really is. It is really brilliant. And I'm just saying that because I'm a mom, and I would be that first person if you said, "Hey, can I have 5 minutes?" I'd be like, "I've got to do my grocery shopping," or I'd find something else to do where I did not have to talk about money, finances, or anything like that, because it's a state of denial that I was living in for a really, really long time.
Absolutely.
But I will talk about it for the sake of my child, and then I'll get something out of it myself because I've only looked at it for a few minutes, and I love this book. I really do.
I love that you have the book because me being a financial coach, knowledge is power, but only when you apply it. And when you have, it's easier to do something for somebody else, especially when they depend on you, compared to if it's just for yourself.
Amen.
And I mean, that's just, when you brought it in, it's brilliant. Like, people are going to be much more motivated to learn about finance and that whole realm, and throw away the anxiety and throw away or go beyond and push through it for their child, for their niece, for their nephew, for all of that, compared to just themselves. Like it's really, really smart. I really love it.
So what would you say because it's like the ABCs, right? ABCs of financial literacy. What would you say your favorite letter is in that entire book?
Ooh, that's
what stands out? What stands out the most to you?
My name is Anthony, so A is, I think, naturally my favorite letter, and it's the first letter of the alphabet. And I think the letter A, like as soon as you pick it up, I think it's gonna be something on that page that strikes you immediately.
Can you tell our viewers that haven't picked up the book a little bit about A?
So we talk about abundance. We start with Africa.
What does that even mean? Like some people may look at it like abundance.
Can I read a little bit about abundance from the book? Is that okay?
Please.
Okay. Abundance. Abundance is having an extremely large quantity of something, or having more than enough. Abundance can extend to many areas of life. For example, one can have an abundance of good health, or an abundant love life or social life. One could also have an abundant career, or an abundance of peace, or abundant achievements. Having abundance in areas such as these can make us truly wealthy.
Man, I don't know.
Beautiful.
If you had somebody reading this book,
need her.
That voice right there.
I was thinking the same thing.
I was sold. I need the audio.
When you read that, I'm like, for people like me who are, reading is not the easiest thing to do. Do you have it on audio? Do you have an audiobook version?
So my cousin hit me up. Similar situation. She could see, but she just has to zoom in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So I met. She was like, "Can you do like a digital version of the book?" So we just got the digital version out, like the ebook out, like a couple weeks ago. The audio book is next because I do think it's important for different people to access it. But we could talk. I'm dead serious. We could talk. Y'all got all the equipment in here. We could make a business deal around here. Right?
I heard that. I'm down.
Sure.
That's amazing. And my cousin is also visually impaired, and she is on the live right now. Hey, cousin. And I don't even know if she reads books like on audio or like, I'm obsessed with Audible right now because I read constantly, like obsessively, and so it's really nice to be able to have something that you can just put on in your car while you're driving and still get the content and stuff like that. So I love it. I love it.
So what made you choose abundance for A?
Well, so just for the viewers' sake, there's a number of words for each letter. You know what I'm saying? So like it's Africa, abundance, ancestors, it's assets. So these are some of the words that are on that A page. And for me, like I said before we started, like the Black wealth is the book is called B is for Black wealth. What people don't realize is the root of the word wealth is actually wellness. So for me, I don't want to have a finance book that only focuses on finance and doesn't focus on the whole person. Because to be well, one of the pieces that we need is we do need to have a healthy financial, you know what I'm saying, like a healthy relationship with money, healthy finances. But it's not the only, it's not the end all be all. It's just a piece to a larger puzzle. So for me, I wanted to make sure that we had that the book wasn't a book to shame you for, maybe not being where you want to be in that area of your life. But the book was to build you up, you know what I'm saying, from the parents to the children. And I just feel like just giving people the perspective that like abundance could mean a number of different things. You could have an abundance of love in your life or peace. And that is honestly more valuable than any dollar amount that we could put on your any net worth or that you might have. So I think that it's important to frame these topics in a way that people could really receive and people could appreciate, because they walk away feeling uplifted and taught, as opposed to just just get your money together, get your money right.
Yeah, that's so true, because it's like
on our haters.
It's like a holistic experience, because I do all my work is like mind, body, spirit, right? But I love the fact, when I was reading that, I love the fact that you mentioned peace, because that for me personally is the most important thing in my life. I always say I protect my peace at all costs, right? And so I think when you're kind of weaving in just like wealth and knowledge about, not just personal wealth, but wealth in your community, and that includes education, and the abundance mindset is very different when you're including things that don't just have to do with money, because abundance is not just money, like you said.
So what do you do for your health? Like, is there a personal routine that you have for yourself? Do you work out at the gym?
Do you do a little yoga?
Can we share with our viewers?
Listen,
cardio.
Cat, I came in here to confess, my brother.
In the confessional, y'all.
I've been having issues being consistent, working out. I've been having issues. I played football my whole life. Ended up going to college.
You're pretty fit though.
Because I played football my whole life. I went to college, I played ball, I worked at a gym.
Yeah.
So, I've worked out consistently over my lifetime. But yeah, I've been having issues just being consistent, bro. Like, and it's a constant struggle.
Where do you feel like you're dropping the ball?
I think a big part is just schedule. Like, I mean, at the end of the day, man, we do whatever we prioritize.
Exactly.
Whatever I decide I'm gonna do, whoever you are, right? Whatever you decide you're gonna do, that's what you're gonna do. And I think at times I prioritize it, and I do like a good 3 to 4 months and go getting right, looking good, show my wife, you know what I'm saying?
We can all relate to that. Like,
then I'll be kind of chilling, man. I'll be falling back. And right now I'm in the back. I'm just, I started boxing. I boxed for a couple months, but I couldn't really make the schedule work like I thought. So like I dropped the ball there. So I kind of dropped the ball in other areas of my fitness. But I'm very, like, I would say over a 12-month period throughout the course of every year, I would say I do a good 4 to 6 months worth of fairly consistent working out. Yeah. That's like my, because I go 2-3 months at a time, and then I kind of drop the ball and I go back to it. So that's me being honest from a business. I'm just looking at you with all the muscles. I got a capacity.
What muscles are you talking about?
What? Right here, man.
I don't even see what you're talking about.
Instantly impressive. That's what I want to be when I grow. I want to be instantly impressive. That's him. But so to answer the question in the less, beyond just the gym, right? I think for me, like I eat, you know what I'm saying? I think I do a good job from a dietary perspective. I don't eat a bunch of terrible food. I think that peace.
And that's 70% of the battle.
I believe that. I believe, like, I don't eat no bread or no sugar at this point in my life. Anything white, typically, I'm good off of. But I think that the non-tangible things are the things that have made me the most well. You know what I'm saying? For me, like, my relationship with God is paramount. You know what I'm saying? That's what the foundation, the rock that my life is built on. And when I'm right there, I feel like other things kind of fall into place, right? Like, and secondarily for me is my relationship with my wife. I feel like when those two things are in alignment and me and her in a good place, then all the other things kind of fall into place.
You just in that flow. You know
that's how I feel. And then, next is my relationship with my family. But somewhere in there needs to be the relationship with myself and my body.
Yeah, sure.
I need
because
to
you could only show your wife and everybody else what you can show yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 6 years.
Oh,
Wow.
Just a baby marriage.
Nah, for sure.
Me and Kat have been married, not to each other. We've been married.
I was about to say, you know something I don't know.
We've been married for a
viewers.
bazillion trillion years.
Y'all got like a podcast marriage though.
Like we're good. We're good. Yeah, we're good. We're good like that.
So,
but we real quick though, we've been together since 2010 though.
Oh,
And we were actually first together in high school.
Wow.
So
Same with me and my wife.
Yeah, I was about to say, Kat can relate to that.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up. We fell off for a minute. I wasn't, the best.
We all go through it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Kat. You make me feel seen, my brother.
But it's one of those things, like, in divine time and everything happens when you're ready for that moment, right? And we always want to be prepared, mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because opportunities do present themselves throughout our life, right? So for those that are interested in bettering their relationship with their financial health, do you have any like workshops or anything coming up in the near future, or anything that we can let our viewers know where they can find you?
So I just created a curriculum based on the book. It's called A Guide to Intergenerational Wealth. We feel like it's the first of its kind because usually we're focused on finances are typically focused on the individual, right? So we broaden that to focus, and then now a lot of Black folks are talking about generational wealth, very important, right? Thinking about our children and who's coming next. But I think we've even broadened that more to include like even the ones that came before us, and to understand that when it comes to Black folks and a lot of other communities of color, we're not just thinking about ourselves. We're actually thinking about, we all actually got grandma living, with us, or moms or whatever,
Amen.
aunties. Like that's how we grow up, very communally and collectively. So for us, that's the way that I think that's how the book, that's the foundation of the book, but it's also the foundation of the curriculum. So it's really cool. It focuses on, to me, like the pillars of financial health, which is entrepreneurship and investing. I feel, and mostly I would say this one kind of focuses on investing, but to me, if you have some of the principles of entrepreneurship and investing, a lot of the other things, you can work towards over time. So as far as upcoming, I just did San Diego City College last week. We got a couple things in the pipeline, but nothing that's, nothing that's solidified at this point. But we're definitely opening ourselves up and offering ourselves for facilitation. All of that can be found at my website. Could I say my website?
Yeah, of course.
Plug it in.
Plug that time.
Yeah, so bisforblackwealth.com is my website, just like it sounds. bisforblackwealth.com. And on there you can find books. Obviously, you can find basically information about the curriculum, and like book a call with me to talk about bringing what we like, the different workshops and things like that we have. We gotta get this book into the school.
And man. I want as the mother of a 13-year-old boy, I want you to have like a summer program. Man, because I would sign my child up so fast it wouldn't even be funny. Like, I'm serious.
First membership.
I want a summer program.
If you need a
counselors,
if you need a coach, holler at me.
Don't holler at me, because I don't, I have to do it, but I don't really want to do it. But I will do it for my child.
The crazy thing is, so a lot of since in 2010, I started doing a football camp for youth. And that was like the big thing that I did every single year for a lot of years. So for me, that's a natural one. We're gonna get there one day for sure, where we bring the youth together and we do some type of summer camp, summer curriculum.
Even with the kids that come to the football camp, have like a segment like in between like the practices where they can get some financial literacy.
Yeah, I've
talked about the group.
Yeah, I'm almost I moved away from the football camp. We gonna figure it out. Yeah, it's been years. I ain't coached in years. But maybe we bring it back like that. But I say that to say like summer programming will happen. I don't know when.
Right.
I was about to say, if you already tied into the coaches and everything into a league.
I was about to say, I'm signing my kid up, signing them up for like.
What you can do is those kids potentially want to be NFL players, right? But then what do you do with that money? Talking to them about that, it's like, okay, well, you want to get to the league, you want these millions of dollars of contracts. What are you going to do with that?
That's
how are you going to invest? How are you going to use the abundance? How you take them through? You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So
yeah,
hey, you heard it here first on the Anything Can Happen show.
Not everybody is like Shaq or Michael Jordan or whatever who like did smartly. They are definitely the minority when it comes to athletes and their money.
Facts.
So I mean, I remember back in the 90s when MC Hammer, what did he do, line his floors with gold or what? He had gold floors. Okay, y'all might be too young for that, but I remember it very well. And even then I thought to myself, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. And then of course 5 minutes later he didn't have no money, but he had floors.
So for our viewers, before you get out of here, Brother Anthony Walker, can you tell them all the platforms where they can find you, website, the whole nine, social media, so they can continue to follow you as we move on? Yeah,
so Ant Walker 33 on Instagram and really all social media, Twitter, Facebook. Website is BSforBlackWealth.com. I also still have the clothing brand popping, finance-friday.com. We got a drop coming soon, hopefully for my birthday. March 14th is my birthday, so hopefully
coming up here for birthday.
Yeah, thank you. So hopefully we'll have a drop for my birthday. And then I'm trying to build my YouTube up, man.
You're not trying to, you building that
YouTube at BS or at Black what is it? YouTube at Black Wealth Media.
Okay.
YouTube Black Wealth Media. Yeah, so that's part of what's coming. So yeah. Long story short, the best thing you can do though is follow me on Instagram, AntWalker33. I'm typically very, very active there, and I got some cool content and art coming for y'all for the rest of the year.
Oh man, that was beautiful.
This was such a good show. Thank you so much.
Man, see, we got to get you to come in for episode 2. Man.
Say the word. Yeah. Say the word. You got my info, bro. We'll put it together.
Yes, sir. So you're listening to KGPC 96.9 FM Oakland and streaming online at www.kgpc969.org. This is the Anything Can Happen show with Kenya Asa, Cat Fitness, and our guest host, Brother Darren from Financial State of Minds. Make sure you tune in every Thursday. Follow us on Instagram at ach.show. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share. And we'll see you next week, y'all. All right. Peace.
Yes, sir. Yeah, that was dope, y'all.
Thank you for joining, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Guys.
If we have more time, we'll be like, just jump on my show.
When is it?
I record right after then.
For real?
Yeah.
Well, let's put something together. Not today, but we can put something
together
for another day.
Yeah, whenever you got time.
What's a good number for you?
Here, let me go ahead. I got my